What number should you use when doing a home personal budget, when doing a budget to buy a new home? Like, what should you look for? How much house is too much house? Maybe that's the better way to say this. Like, what do you look for and what's in line? And, what's the advice about determining a budget or how much I want to spend? And how does that compare to others? So the question I got was something along those lines. And the reality is, don't compare yourself to others. It doesn't matter. Don't be keeping up with the Joneses, right? We all know those folks. There's some folks that are homebodies. I know some that are just, they don't travel, they don't do anything, and they love being at home, and good for them, right? So somebody like that might spend more on a home because they're going to be there longer versus somebody else that, travels and is not there and spends money on other stuff. And whether it's fancy cars or trips or savings or saving for retirement, like they're going to have different needs and financial goals so that maybe they don't spend as much on a house. So I think some of it is, the answer is, do your personal budget. You do you, right? But do yours, figure out what number you feel comfortable. And I always ask folks two questions: just, hey man, what do you want to pay? What's the perfect payment? If we can make one up, snap our fingers. Lower is always better, no question. But what's your payment? Like, where's that range? They tell me a number. Cool. Where's that upper end where you found that perfect house? Because I remember I was like, I will spend no more than X. And I told my realtor, I'm not doing it. This was 15 years ago, not spending a dollar. She called me and you could tell she was smiling. She's like, so that's our max, huh? I was like, all right, what do you got? And it was like $5,000 more or something like that. I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. Right. Because the house was so good, it made all the check boxes. So find your number that you want to pay, find your max for what you want to pay. Don't let a mortgage person dictate it. Maybe a mortgage person can at least help you understand what it is, but pay what you want. Don't compare yourself to others. The mortgage world, the general rule of thumb is we want, and for conventional Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac type stuff, all monthly payment obligations. So that's credit cards, but that is not. So what it is: your mortgage, your credit cards, your cars, your student loans, those things. You take all those obligations, the monthly number. If that's 45% or less than your gross income, monthly income, that says kind of like that's the upper end of where they want you to be. It's called DTI. And somewhere, again, there's links. Look on, the website's going to have more stuff about that. But the point is, gross number. I stress that because that's before taxes come out. So just because the mortgage world says you're good, you may not be comfortable with that. I remember when I bought my second house to live in, I still had to qualify with the first. I hadn't sold it, and the mortgage world approved me. And I was like, my gosh, I would be like sick to my stomach if I truly knew that was my payment moving forward, but I was qualified. So again, just because the mortgage world says you are, do you find your number, buy your house, buy what you want. And yeah, you might have to concede with house prices and location, but hey, if you pay a little more for this to get the right house in the right place with all the check boxes, if they're willing to do that, wonderful. But at least have an idea and a goal. But don't let anybody tell you what the number has to be. Make it your number. It's your house. You do you, and understand your finances don't need to be like anybody else's. So hopefully that helps. If you do have questions, comments, concerns, reach out to us. Mortgage Mark team's here to help. And as always, when you think mortgage, think Mark.